I, volunteered for one of their little expo things and helped organize a line, and for some green screen activity they had for a fan base for one of their events. And eventually met one of their creative directors and said, "Hey, you seem to know what you're doing. Are you looking for an internship?" And I said, "Yeah." And that was kind of the way that it got me in the door. It was in a department that I had no idea that it even existed. I didn't know what advertising promotion was. I didn't know what movie marketing was. But I said, "Hey, this is in the door," and got in the door. And I learned what it was. And I took every opportunity to make myself available, to be available for any project that they had. Way back in the day, internships were not paid. So it was completely a summer of volunteering and, kind of doing what I love to do and learning how it's done in the real world and what connections I had to make. So I already had a leg up because they introduced nonlinear editing. So I knew the systems, and I was already ahead of the game. Met the people that I needed to meet. So when it came time for graduation, I think I applied to 120 plus some jobs coming out of college. And I would say about 98% I never heard from. The other 1.5% sent rejections. And then I called up the place where I had my internship and I said, "Hey, the last day of my internship, you said if I ever needed anything, reach out. So I need a job." And they said, "Okay, we can help you out. It's not going to be what you want to do. If it's okay, it only pays $12 an hour." Sure, let me do it. And I ran the teleprompter at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I did that for about 2 months. But that was the step that got me in the door, because shortly after that, the person who gave me my internship said, "Hey, somewhere else in another part of NBC, they're looking for a role I think you'd be interested in." And I interviewed for that job, and it still wasn't, the job that I wanted. But I took it and, ended up moving. And that's kind of what really started me on the, kind of marketing and creative journey into television and film, making commercials and trailers and that kind of stuff. So, getting your start may not always take you down the road. It's about finding the opportunities that when they present themselves and taking full advantage of it. And when you have friends and groups of people that kind of feel that have the same kind of drive and passion that you had. A bunch of my friends, at college, we all had internships at the similar time. A couple of us all had it at NBC too. So it was just a great experience, and it wasn't easy. My graduating class in television and film coming out of Shippensburg was over 1,000 people. And there was only about 30 of us that had jobs in television and film when it was said and done. A lot of other people went to marketing or, just general advertising and other paths. So it may not always be the path that you expect, but, just take every opportunity. And, it may not be what you want at first, but the opportunity is always there for you to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, no, that's important for all of us to know, especially for those who are creatives or even entrepreneurs, that really just humbling yourself and knowing that you're not gonna have the best six-figure job coming
Yeah.
out the door, especially straight out of college. You got to grind and you got to work your way up.
And
Which even
anymore, it's
Mhm.
so competitive. There's so many people
Yeah,
that can do so many different things. So every opportunity that you get is precious, whether it's the one that you want that you want, or it's the one that you can. It's at least on the direction that you want to achieve. You got to take that opportunity, just because there's just so many people that want to do the same thing. Just when an opportunity presents itself, you have to take it.
absolutely. No, that's so true. And which I was gonna pivot to the next part when it comes to fostering relationships. A lot of people, especially nowadays, the younger generation, whether it's the Alpha generation or Gen Z, they're thinking more about what's in it for me.
Mhm.
They may struggle with fostering relationships to make it a mutually beneficial relationship versus a one-sided relationship. And
Mhm.
when it comes to relationship currency, as we like to call it on the show, like how have you fostered your relationships over the years, even to the project currently that you are promoting today, that is on Amazon? Like,
Mhm.
talk to us about the importance of fostering relationships throughout your career so that you can still have the relationship and also a strong relationship with those that you built with along the way.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most important things next to your education that you're going to have in any professional career, not just a creative professional career in the movies or anywhere in a corporate environment. Relationships are key, whether you realize it at the moment or you don't. Because as we said just a moment ago, it is a very competitive world, and you never know when you're going to see somebody, when you're going to need somebody, when that person has a connection that's going to get you on the path that you want to go. So there are parts of your journey where, yes, you do have to be a little bit selfish, because it has to help you plan and have a direction to achieve your goals. But you're never going to be successful if you don't surround yourself with the people that are going to help make you successful. The people that are going to find things mutually beneficial, to when you're having success, when they're having success. They're going to help build on your success. That are not going to always make it about them. That are going to help and support you at every high and every low, because everybody will hit both of those. When you're struggling, especially if you're somebody that's going out and is not taking a corporate journey, if you're trying to self-start, if you're trying to build your own business from the ground up, there's nothing you can really do alone. Just because there's just so many different aspects of it. You may have the talents to be able to build and have the idea for the business, but the business still needs to operate. The business still needs to market. The business still needs to reach people. The business still needs to provide the service or the product, and you need people to make that product. You need people to help fulfill that service. So no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're doing, whether it's creative, whether it's corporate, whether it's self-built, people are going to be involved. And, every relationship matters, whether it's a customer relationship, whether it's a personal relationship. And it's so important to have that foundation of people. A perfect example with me is, I completely left the television industry, 10 years ago. And one of the things that was instilled in me is, never burn bridges. Make sure that you always keep good connections with everybody, and help each other out. And we look on all the relationships that I kind of made over the years back when I was in television. Then I took a 10-year gap to try to help build my own business, and now I have a movie that I'm coming out, and I'm reaching back out to some of those people, and there's still a support system, to help market, to help talk about, to help kind of do all that kind of stuff, because we built that foundation and that relationship 20 years ago. So some relationships may not seem important up front. They may seem like they get in the way of what you're trying to do, but it's so important to surround yourself with the people that are going to support you, that you're able to support as well. Just because other people will support you doesn't mean that you'll support them. You have to be able to support them as well on whatever their journey is. And when you can collectively work together, you can always reach your goals, no matter how long it takes. Like I said, some of these relationships I had 20 years ago, when it came to kind of putting my movie together. Those relationships were kind of the people that were part of my crew that kind of helped make this in the budget that I needed to make it in, that helped execute in areas that I needed help to do in post-production, in actual production. Those relationships were built over the 10 years that I had my business. here in Philly, my production business, and the camera guys I worked with, and the technicians I worked with, that, and I said, hey, here we go, here's the project. It doesn't pay what this first what I usually do, but here's the goal, here's the plan. I want you to be a part of it. Will you come on this journey? And